I'm Clint Brass from the Congressional Research Service. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not for my nonpartisan, non-advocative agency. One of the topics that really came out with this panel is that a linchpin of employing and using economic evidence is the crucial role that impact evaluation plays in much of the discussion. And so in many ways, this is also a conversation about evaluation methodology and impact evaluation methodology. And this has been a subject of some debate. One term that we've alluded to but not really mentioned explicitly is external validity. And there have been some fierce critics of kind of the evidence-based policy movement that focuses primarily or only on impact evaluations for purposes of extrapolating impacts to other contexts. What may have worked or probably worked here in X will work in Y. So if you could speak to, so for example, Friends of Evidence has been one of those critics, and no one from that group is here today to give voice to that. So can you talk a little bit about external validity and whether you see a role for evaluation methods in addition to impact evaluation for making those assessments?
I fear we won't be able to fully answer that question, although a great question in the time we have left. But if someone would like to provide a brief response, we'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, we did a report last year which sort of touches that. And I think that we need to think about this field broadly. It's how do we bring evidence into the system in more comprehensive ways than we've been doing in the past. And building a learning cycle in government requires several things. It requires assessing the evidence of what we're doing. It requires ways of bringing this information into the system. It requires much more attention to fidelity of implementation and paying attention to how things are being delivered than we do now. It requires building outcome monitoring systems that tell us fairly quickly, are we getting what we want to be getting? So that if we see that, hey, in half the state things aren't working well, you can immediately try to deal with it. And it requires building an evaluation capacity that's much more strategically deployed than what we're doing now. If we do that, then I think we can really transform the system. But we have to do that really holistically. So many of the things that Barry was talking about there were silver bullets. If only we do performance measurement, if only we do zero-based budgeting, if only we do this little piece of it, then we're going to get where we want to be. And doing one piece of this by itself will never get us where we want to be. It's building the system where we identify the evidence, we continually expand it, we bring it holistically into the system, recognizing its strengths and weaknesses, and continually building that into the system and feeding that into the agency management structure so it actually affects things on the ground. That is what we have to do. So I think recognizing the limitations of what one piece of this is going to be is important, but also recognizing the importance of building this overall framework of governance is what has to happen for us to get the outcomes we want to be able to achieve.
Thank you very much for that very thoughtful response. Before I close this out and turn it over to Gina, I just want to say thank you very much to our panel. We really appreciate your time and all of your insight here. Thank you.
So Max already beat me to the punch. The closing remark is partly just to really thank our panel for all that you did. Also to thank our sponsors who financed this particular effort in this study. I'd like to thank our members, of course, of our panel who are here, our committee here today. I'd like to actually thank the staff who's done their various work, and to those in the public who actually joined us, either here. I'm not sure how many people came online, but those of you who did, we're really glad you joined us. And again, our appreciation to everyone. Thank you, and this meeting is adjourned.